I don't know how I was going to start the video, but I guess we're started. This is video number 2 for this channel. I'm going to be talking about all the camera gear I took on a shoot I had 3 weeks ago, pretty recently. That was a full day shoot, photo and video. To give you an idea of what the shoot was, here's just a little highlight film from that weekend. Oh, here, to start off, I'm just gonna swap out cameras so I can talk about the video camera first, and then I can get that back to videoing. So we're gonna just do a little switch around. So this is the video camera. It's the Sony Zv-e1, and then we got the Sony 24-50 f2.8 on there. That's like the bread and butter video lens. We almost never take this off this camera. And then on there, we've got the Peter McKinnon PolarPro V&D filter. Yep, that's what we used, or that's what I used for video that day. There's normally a mic on here, but the mic's on the camera right now, and that we use the Rode VideoMic PRO 2. Rode VideoMic Pro. Kelly is back there helping me out, so thanks, Kelly. Next, we're going to talk about the photo camera, now that we've switched these back and forth. And this is the Sony A7R5. This is a beast. I love this camera. I used to have a Sony A7 II, and then I upgraded to this. I saved all my money for so long. I had to buy a new laptop when I got this camera because my old laptop couldn't handle the file size, so it's a big difference. The lens on this one is the Sigma 24-70 f2.8. I love this lens. This lens is on this camera like probably 70% of the time, and then the other 20%, it's this guy, which I'll talk about in a second, and then the other 10%, it's probably this one. Oh, and then, well, I also have the other Peter McKinnon polarizer variable ND filter that I put on this guy, depending on what I'm shooting, cars, that kind of thing. Move on to the next item, Sony f4 7200. This is the older f4 7200. Eventually I want to upgrade to an f2.8 from either Sony or Sigma, probably Sigma because the Sony one's like $2,500, $3,000. I don't even know, but still a great lens. It's nice to be able to reach out a little bit further, get some background to make it look big and awesome. Use that on both cameras for this past shoot. The last lens I took was the Sigma 50mm. I didn't actually use it on the most recent shoot, but I will use this often for different types of shoots, products, that kind of thing, but didn't use it on the day that I went out, that I'm making this video from the gear I took. But I brought it, so there it is. If I needed it, I had it. Next is extra batteries, which is nice because both these cameras have the same type of battery, so just brought one extra each. I think I went through a battery and a half for the video camera that day, but I didn't go through a full one for the photo camera. It was mostly a video day. Didn't end up shooting many photos, but a few. The whole day, it was like a, I don't know, 10-hour shooting day. Probably 9 hours. And it wasn't the whole time. We were driving around from different location to location. That just tells you how much the battery was used in the day. So I think it totally ended up with an hour's worth of video footage. Next we have, of course, I always have one of these and a little cloth. I don't have one out, but of course you need one of those. And then this is on the table, but I didn't bring it, so. Brought the Rode Go mics. What are they called again? Wireless Pro mics. Brought these as well if we were gonna do some sort of voiceover for that video project, but we didn't end up, so I didn't end up using them. But I brought them. They're pretty nice, good ones. I've used them for weddings before. And then, of course, can't forget fruit snacks for the diabetes, just in case I got low blood sugar. I'm pretty sure I did that day, so I ate a couple of those. The last thing, I guess not the last thing, because we also brought the tripod, but the camera's on the tripod. I'm not even gonna show that because you don't need to see that. You know what a tripod looks like. The gimbal, this is the RS3 Mini. I just couldn't read it right there, RS3 Mini. But didn't end up using that at all that day. Generally, I like having a gimbal. It's nice when you need it. I like to avoid it when I can. And on the Zv-e1, the image stabilization in camera is pretty good. I brought it in case there was any like chance of shooting from a moving vehicle. Certain situations like that, you want a little more stabilization. I brought it, didn't use it. Okay, great. That is everything that I brought for that day. I know some of you have been asking what gear I've been using, and so hopefully this gives you a good idea about that. If you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments, and subscribe if you want to. Oh, thanks for watching. Thank you. Welcome to let's start over. What was I gonna say about it? Oh,